Hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Today I'm talking about a film that's by one of the Safdie brothers, Josh Safdie of Uncut Gems fame. He and his brother kind of split up to do different directing duties. Earlier in the year, I reviewed The Smashing Machine, which was directed by Benny Safdie. But this film that I'm reviewing for you today, Marty Supreme, is directed by Josh Safdie. So the two of them kind of split up to be able to do two different directing duties, and I'm sure they get along in real life still, but I'm sure creative wise they wanted to be able to do something different from each other. But today I'm talking about Marty Supreme. This is a film that it's about a guy named Marty Mauser, which I think his name was Marty Ramir or something like that along the lines of real life. So it's not his real name. They use just his first name for the character, really, and I'm sure it's just loosely based off of his life. But we follow him. He is a professional table tennis player. Ping pong is kind of taking off everywhere now. It's kind of a big international sport now. More people are watching it, more people are engaged in it, and more people are participating in it. And so around this time, we'll just call him Marty Mauser for the rest of the review. Marty Mauser is, really good at it. He's competing in tournaments, but things kind of go south for him when he kind of loses his first big tournament competition. Things aren't going well for him. He returns home. He gets job offers and stuff, things that he really doesn't want to go back to from when he was working as younger, like this shoe salesman job. His boss from that wants him to go back to work. There's things that his mom wants him to do, things that his girlfriend at home who is pregnant with his child that wants him to do stuff. So he really doesn't want to do those things. But his luck kind of turns around for the better when um, a man who's married to this famous former film actress turned stage actress, who's played by Gwyneth Paltrow. She's married to a guy that basically runs a pen company. I think it's Rockwell Inc. or something like that. And so they're a major sponsor for this table tennis competition that's about to happen overseas. And so, Marty's doing everything in his power to basically get into that competition. But there's this kind of bad follow up between him and this Rockwell Inc. guy. So it's kind of a hard thing for him to get involved with. So over the course of this film, what we really kind of follow over the course of this movie is, can Marty get back into table tennis? Does he have to settle down for regular jobs for a while? How does he get out of these really tough situations that he always seems to get involved with, whether it's his girlfriend or his mom or himself or his friends? And how does he get out of all that stuff? Does the table tennis thing work out in the end? Um, who is the real true love of his life? And for those who've seen the movie, you're going to know what I'm talking about. All this stuff happens over the course of Marty Supreme. But overall, guys, I thought this film was just okay. I was not. I know this film is doing really well on Rotten Tomatoes with the critics. I know a lot of Safdie Brothers fans in particular are really eating this movie up right now. I thought it was okay. There's things about Marty Supreme that I really do like quite a bit, but there's things about Marty Supreme that really are just not very good. It's a very long film. It's like 2.5 hours. And for being about a table tennis player, there really isn't a lot of table tennis in it. Yeah, there's just enough to call it a table tennis movie, but when you really look at it, when you look at other sport dramas and everything else, and you look at kind of how much content is sent to those sports for those movies, like Rocky and the football movies and all this other stuff, um, I just feel like Marty Supreme really does kind of fall short in that area. It really does, even though it's about a table tennis player, it's just kind of more so about this troublesome situations that he gets involved with, and we just kind of see how he gets out of them and stuff like that. Um, like I said, there's things about this movie that are admirable and fine, but there really is a lot of stuff about this movie that really isn't very good, unfortunately. So I'm going to go over some positives and negatives as to things I like about Marty Supreme, things I really didn't like about it, and where I kind of overall sit with it by the end of the review. So first and foremost, for the positive stuff, when we do get to the table tennis scenes, they really do look very good. Whether it is Timothee Chalamet and another actor performing those table tennis scenes themselves, or it's CGI making it look like they're doing a better job playing table tennis than they really are. I'm sure Forrest Gump used the same effect when Forrest Gump was doing ping pong in those movies. But they really do look good in this movie. They found a really convincing way to really make it look like these players are really good at what they do. They're really engaging, whether it's the music or the way those scenes are filmed. Josh Safdie found a satisfying way to kind of make those scenes look great. So for the table tennis stuff, when we actually do see that in the movie, I thought those scenes overall do look pretty good. And overall, too, this is a great performance movie. And what I mean by that is all the performers involved with this movie are very good. Whether it's Gwyneth Paltrow playing the stage actress, whether it's Timothee Chalamet playing the lead role of Marty, whether it's the girlfriend role where she wants to get more involved with Marty's life than he wants to, whether it's the mother played by Fran Drescher, whether it's this, the guy from Shark Tank playing this Rockwell Inc. guy. Really is a great performance movie. It really is good. Anybody that's a part of the cast, I think, really does a great job here, submits a good performance. So if you're looking for good performances from every actor and actress involved with the film, I think from that angle, you'll be pretty happy with the film. I also thought some of the 1950s production design from production designer Jack Fisk, who has worked on many Terrence Malick films, also very beautifully, art direction type movies. His 1950s production design sensibilities really help this film out. It does take place in the 50s, and it really does feel like that. It really does feel like we're back in a moment in time that doesn't exist anymore, and that we're really kind of seeing how things are playing out with this Marty character and how things really go bad for him really quickly in certain situations. And I thought the overall production design, as far as convincing me that this isn't a 1950s New York or a 1950s Japan, which you'll see in some of the ping pong stuff, I really was very convinced as far as really making it feel like I was watching something from the 1950s. It really does feel like that over the course of the film. And overall, too, there are some tense moments in the film that really are very effective. There really are some scenes where Marty gets in a situation where you just don't know what's going to happen to him, where things are going to go, and you're just kind of at the edge of your seat and trying to expect what exactly is going to happen to him. And so there are some tense moments here where you really don't know where the film is going, and so you really just kind of trying to figure out in your brain where exactly the film can go from there and how exactly he can make it to another ping pong tournament and stuff like that. So there is some really effective moments here as far as where exactly is this story going to go. But for my negatives of Marty Supreme, first and foremost, there's just a lot of unlikable, obnoxious characters in this movie. There's just so many characters where, whether it's the Marty character himself or the ex-boyfriend of the guy that Marty's girlfriend's trying to move on from, or the Shark Tank guy or whatever, there's just so many unlikable, obnoxious characters that really are not nice to anybody, that aren't even nice to themselves. And we have to spend a lot of time with them because it's a 2.5 hour movie. And for me personally, I gotta latch on to somebody. I gotta root for somebody. I gotta like somebody. And these characters that we follow, I just really did not like them very much. And that kind of brings me to my next point. This film is way too long. It's about 2.5 hours long. I think 25 minutes could have easily been cut from the movie just because there's just so many scenes of things happening that really have nothing to do with the story at all. I don't know if they could have trimmed down the things with the dog that Timothee Chalamet's trying to take care of. I don't know if they needed to trim down scenes with the mother since that really didn't go anywhere. I don't know if they needed to trim down scenes with the Gwyneth Paltrow stage actress because it goes somewhere some of the time, but there's just a lot of times too where it's just stuff that's playing out in the movie. There's just a lot of scenes. I think Tyler the Creator is his name in real life, or his rapper name anyway. There's scenes where him and Timothee Chalamet are doing kind of ping pong stuff on the side. I don't know if that could have been trimmed down a little bit more. There's just a lot of scenes where it leads us to something and it doesn't go anywhere, and it just kind of goes back and forth between other plot points, and some of those don't really go anywhere either. There's just a lot of times where the film goes on for way too long, and there's kind of no justification at all as to why it's going on for as long as it does. And also, too, this film is just way too unfocused. It has way too many ideas going on at the exact same time. I think just a better editing process, a better script, a more focused script, I think could have fixed this issue. It's just a very unfocused movie that just has too many ideas going at once. And that was just one of the more irritating parts of this movie to me. And overall, too, for being a table tennis movie, there's just not a lot of table tennis in it. There's maybe one or two tournaments that we see the Marty characters participate in. But there really isn't a lot of table tennis stuff in the movie. And I mean, maybe there's 23-ish minutes of it, maybe. But I mean, there really isn't a lot of it here. And I know that Josh Safdie, I'm sure, was trying to make an unconventional movie. But if you're making a table tennis movie, you kind of have to have table tennis in it. So it was a very odd creative choice to me that for being such a long movie, and for setting out for being a table tennis movie, they really kind of don't focus on the thing that they're setting out to do very much. And I know that they're trying to avoid tropes and do avoid all the generic stuff, but unfortunately, sometimes that stuff works, and sometimes that stuff it's been doing it. They've been doing it for so long in Hollywood because they know that that works and because that's how you tell a good story. I'm just one of those people where if you want to break the rules in an interesting way. Don't just kind of do randomness to do randomness. So I thought that was one aspect of the story that really could have been better. And overall, too, I just did not care what was going on. It was just one of those movies where, because this Marty character is just so mean to everybody, and because he's relying so much on winning these table tennis competitions, and the second he loses, the second things aren't going right, he just becomes a complete jerk. And I just didn't care about him. It was just one of those things where on the scenes where we're supposed to feel sorry for him or make us feel bad or anything like that, I just really didn't feel anything just because I really didn't feel invested in the character to begin with. He just was kind of this terrible person to begin with, and so I'm just kind of being asked to sympathize for this guy that I really just don't like to very much to begin with. And so that's just a very hard thing to do in a movie like this, is to care about somebody that from the beginning we're really not giving a lot of reasons to care about them to begin with. And then remember my last negative point too, I really do feel like all forms of art need a consistency to it. And I just feel like Marty Supreme, by the time I was over and done with it, there just wasn't a sense of consistency to it. I really wish and really hoped that they tried to make a film that felt consistent from one scene to the next. And it's just one of those things where if one scene is about this, another scene is about this, another scene is about this, and another scene is about that, and you really aren't finding a way to congeal all of those ideas together, it just doesn't make for a very cohesive whole of a film. And I just feel like all art needs that consistency in some way, and Marty Supreme just can never find that balance for it. But overall, I'm going to give Marty Supreme a 7 out of 10. There's things about it that are good. There's things about it that are admirable. I admire that Josh Safdie wanted to try something different, but there's just too many unlikable characters here. It's way too long. It's way too unfocused. There's too many ideas being thrown into it. More table tennis scenes really needed to happen in this movie. I just didn't care about anything that was going on. And like I said, all art really does need a consistency to it. And I just feel like as a piece of art, Marty Supreme just doesn't know how to do that. So it is a 7 out of 10 for me. I would say if you really want to see it, wait for streaming on this one. If you could stream it for free somewhere when it's out of its theatrical run, I think that's the best way to watch this. I really can't convince somebody to go pay money at a theater to go see it. I really don't think it's that good. Um, Tons of great performances, tons of admirable things about it. Just not enough for me to recommend it. There is, like I said, just enough negatives here where I could say you could probably skip this one if you really weren't interested to begin with. But like I said, if there's things about it that intrigue you, I would say wait for streaming on this one. At least that's my vote anyway. And then that's my take on Marty Supreme.